Hey there, good afternoon. It's Friday, October 18th, and I'm Rob. Route here. I call myself the developer dad. And we're still in the planning and sort of pre-design phases of building the administrative application that I'm going to use to help me run my software as a service, which is called the DMs, familiar. There's going to be a lot of tasks once this thing goes live that I'm not going to be able to execute manually in a timely manner because these events may happen overnight while I'm sleeping, while I'm trying to take a day off on the weekends, what have you. So I need some software in place to automatically take care of those events for me. So all this week, I've been documenting the steps involved in these particular use cases. There's sign up for new subscription, automatic renew subscription, pause, resume, discontinue, cancel, and then of course during the usage of the product by my customers, they're going to be consuming resources that they have an amount that they are allowed to use either for the lifetime of the subscription in the case of storage, or an amount that refreshes every month in the case of, say, AI generation tokens. So I've boiled things down to a handful of objects that we're concerned with in terms of this administration project, and a handful of activities that involve one or more of these objects in certain ways. So we've got initiator of the activity, we've got an activity would create one or more, or cause one or more of these things to be created brand new, might alter, or might depend on one of these things, the information that's governed by one of these top level concepts. And then I also kind of need to set up another matrix that kind of describes the relationships between these entities. Now, I do have a diagram that I built up this morning of these different entities and how they relate to each other in terms of each customer may have 0 or 1 subscription. The subscription is derived from a subscription template and has 0 or several quota trackers. Each quota tracker is tied to a template which outlines the number of uses of some feature, that the user may have or would have access to through their subscription and the product to which they've subscribed. So we have customers and subscriptions and quotas, templates, which drive what each subscription and quota looks like, product, which is held by subscription template, features are grouped into products, and quota templates control one. Each quota template will control exactly one feature, or 0. A feature may not have a quota template, which means it's basically free. So, sign up is always initiated by a customer. Pause, initiated by a customer. Resume is not initiated by a customer. Renew may be initiated by a customer. And I'm going to put tilde may be. There we go. Discontinue will always be initiated by a customer. Cancel, same thing. Subscribe and consume. Subscribe, the act of subscription, creates, or the act of subscribing creates a subscription. Creates quotas. Depends on a subscription template, product, feature, and a quota template. Consume alters a quota. Cancel alters a quota, or alters a subscription and alters a quota. Discontinue alters the subscription but does not alter the quota. Renew alters both the subscription, may alter a quota, depending on the subscription template and the quota template. Resume alters, depending on, and depending on, because we'll have data in the subscription template that we'll need when we're renewing the, or resuming the subscription. Pause, alters the subscription, alters the quota, doesn't touch anything else. Sign up is just the customer establishing their identity and a profile within the application space. I don't think I need these. So, I think I want to change depends on to, oh gosh, U for uses. I'm going to add one more, R, remove. Cancel removes the subscription and the quota. So this gives us a framework of the operations that can be performed upon a resource. All right. So our resource access provides the following activities. Initiates is sort of an odd one out. X. V. Process. Oops. And I got to make that font bigger for y'all to be able to see. There we go. So we've got create, alter, use, and remove. And yeah, I realize that's create, read, update, delete. But that's okay. So we have list, load, and instead of list, I'm going to say filter. Load, save, and remove. Filter, well, we can filter our customers, subscriptions, quotas. There's not really a need to filter a quota all by itself. Subscription templates, products, features. And quota template is sort of a property of feature. No, quota template is an association between subscription template and a feature that's included in the product. Quota is a child property of subscription. Load, we are obviously going to need to load a customer, their subscription, and quota templates. Customer subscription and subscription template. Save, customer and subscription, and quota. And we got to bump that up. And remove, just subscription and quota. 18. So I'm going to copy this, just those two columns, copy, and give me a new note. There we go. Is it going to let me paste this data as a table? Sure is. Sure is. So, following this reasoning, go back to Excel, delete that stuff. Resource. Nope. Activity. No. These are resource access tasks. or just tasks. Resource, activity context, because tasks are performed within the context of an activity. So let's make that line nice and big and bold. And task is performed with resource for an activity context. And these are our activity contexts. And let's just stretch that out a little bit. And resource task. All right, so I'm going to pull Excel over here. I'm going to see if it's going to let me rip this sheet out into a new window. It's not. Darn it. That's okay. I wonder if I can move it to a new pane. Move or copy. Autofill services. Yeah. Protect sheet tab color. No, you're a poop. No, absolutely not. Let's do that. View. Can I do sheets side by side? Switch windows, macros, page layout, orientation, print area, yeah. Print titles, page setup, no. I don't want any of that. Home, screw it. So, we have our tasks: create, alter, use, remove. Times 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm getting text messages that I should probably look at. Nope, nothing important. All right. So, create. And I'm going to give myself some space. Alter, use, and remove. Make all of those 18. Bold. Is that how I have it laid out? No, our tasks are filter, load, save, remove. Filter, load, save, remove. The resources for filter. customers. I'm just going to go ahead and make this whole thing 18 point. Subscriptions. Subscription templates. Products. No. Because products products, features, and of course, quota templates are sub-property of or adjoining property between subscription, product, and feature. Load, we have customer, just customer, subscription, and subscription template. And let's bump this out. Save. We've got customer, subscription, quota. Because we're only ever going to be saving one at a time. Now, when we save a subscription, we may be saving quota records with it. But when we're saving a quota, we're saving exactly one quota record. And remove refers to subscription, quota, and we need to consider GDPR and California privacy regulations. And we do need to make it possible to fully remove a customer from the system. Now, the activity context in which we would be filtering customers. There aren't really any activity contexts in which we would be filtering our customers from the point of view of automating the various customer subscription manipulations that we would be engaging in. Hey, robot, I'm over here, silly. Right here. Silly robot. Now, do we need to filter the subscriptions, the subscription templates, products, features? For the API that's going to be interacting or just going to be providing the backend functionality to the webhooks, which is my number one priority as far as making this stuff available, I don't think filter really needs to be present as a top priority. So we're going to take these guys and paste them down here. And then all of these rows, we can delete them. We can compress that stuff up. So for a customer, the activity context in which we're going to be loading customers are sign up is initiated by and creates a customer. May also subscribe initiated by creates a subscription. Good. consume, uses and alters, uses and alters, resume, uses the customer, uses and alters the subscription, uses and alters the description template. It's no longer D, but a U. I should change that here, here, here. R is for remove, consume, uses, consume also is initiated by and uses, uses and alters, subscribe, okay, cancel, uses and removes, uses and removes, uses the subscription template, uses the quota template. And I'm going to change cancel refund, cancel to cancel refund. Because it needs to use the subscription template and the quota template to A, get the length of subscription, and B, get the base allotment of renewable resources that the customer has in their quota. So, back here, you know what? I need to Google something real quick. New window, Excel for Mac, show, use two panels for different sheets in workbook. Use the split feature in the View tab. All right, let's do this because having to flip back and forth is a massive pain in the neck. So, View, where's split? Split, split, split. Split. I don't think that's what I wanted. Excel for Mac, you can split a sheet into panes or use windows to view multiple sheets or multiple workbooks. Okay, I want to undo that split. Cancel plus refund. Oh, what are you doing? Amazon just dropped something off. Okay, so, oh, what even? So I've just split my view. Go to the View tab in the menu bar, select Split. Over here, what even are you doing? How do I unsplit? Get lost. All right, view, switch windows, one book one. That doesn't help me. What's the default view? Go away. Normal page break view, custom views. Macros. This is very silly. Sheets side by side on a Mac. Split feature. Navigate to the sheet that you want to see in the left panel. Okay, I'm here. View. Split. Sheet 2. Split. That doesn't do what I want it to. Sometimes. Yeah, Google AI is useless. Let's go to Microsoft support for this. Split a sheet into panes. I don't want to do that. On the window menu, select new windows. So, whoop, not that one, but this one. Window, new window. Here we go. Click the tab for the sheet you want to view. Boop. Window, arrange vertically. Windows of Active Workbook. There we go. Now we're talking. So, load, which corresponds to uses, that is for the activity context of, I'm going to come over here, bounce over here, do that. So customer is loaded under the activity context for pause, sub, resume, sub, renew, sub, I'm just going to delete, pause, no, subscribe. Is there a hotkey for insert shift down? Apparently not. Insert. Renew. Pause. Resume. Discontinue. Cancel. Refund. Consume quota. Subscription is not read by subscribe. However, it is read by So, renew. Pause. I'll put pause here. Pause, resume. Discontinue. Cancel. Refund. And it is also used by consume. Is the subscription used by consume? Yeah, it kind of is. Which means I also need to add quota. Subscription template is used by subscribe. We're going to need it for pause as well. And quota template. Maybe we might need it for quota template. Or we might need quota template for pause. But we definitely need it for subscribe. Renew. Because the subscription template kind of guides us in terms of what items we need to insert for things like quotas and what those base quotas should look like. Pause. Renew. Discontinue. Cancel. Refund. Subscription template is used for that. Subscription is also read in discontinue. Duh. So subscribe, cancel, refund. Subscription template is not used in discontinue. We don't need that. We do need it for cancel, refund. Quota is used when we renew. It's read and may be altered when we renew. I just want to highlight this row so that I don't lose my place. We definitely read and write to it when we pause and resume. but we're not pausing and resuming the quota, we're pausing and resuming the subscription. So we need to be careful here. We're not doing anything with the quota in discontinue. We are using it during cancel refund. And we're using it during consume quota. Subscription template, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, good. Product, feature, and quota template are all used during one, 2, 3. Product, feature, quota, template. Oh, quota template is also used. Okay, quota template's used quite a lot, but product and feature are both used in the subscribe. And one could argue that they're used during consume, but we're not actually reading or writing from or to product or feature when we're consuming a quota. Nor are we reading or writing from the quota template when we're consuming an already provisioned quota. So quota template is used during subscribe, renew. I'll highlight this column over here so that it's got better visibility. Pause, resume. It's not used during discontinue. It is referred to during the cancel refund activity or process rather. Excuse me. That's 5 activities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, good. So we need to be able to load any of these objects for a variety of contexts. Now, loading, the context matters less because all we're doing is we're getting a copy of that information for other processes to either display or use in their calculations or what have you. Save. And this means either saving as a brand new thing or updating the record for an existing thing. Saving a customer absolutely happens during the sign-up process. But that's really all that would affect the customer records within the context of this stuff. Our subscription is saved during subscribe, create, oh, you know what? GDPR, thinking. Delete. GDPR compliance. And I'm gonna squoosh this window over just a scooch. And I'm gonna make this window a little bigger so I can see everything on one screen, because I need to make this bigger. And it's always initiated by a customer, and it removes. The subscription is removed. Quota is removed. None of this other stuff is, because that's all system data. This is customer data. Note: when deleting customer records for GDPR compliance, we must also allow download of all their data, including the items they've stored in our system, remove their data from any third-party systems with which we've integrated identity provider and e-commerce provider included. And I need to make that font bigger. Because the GDPR delete my stuff basically means I'm out of here, forget I ever existed. And that's really it. We have to give them the ability to A, access and download every 1 and 0 we've ever recorded about them, and B, subsequently hard delete that data from our systems. And even though I'm based in the US and I'm not based in California, if I am going to have customers in Europe or California, and there's other national jurisdictions that also have very strict privacy and delete my data laws. If I am going to let people in those countries become customers of mine, I need to comply with, instead of trying to comply with each jurisdiction individually, I'm just going to comply with the most stringent. And for now, that's GDPR. That's the EU's privacy and consumer data protection regulation. So good rule of thumb, if you want to do business around the world, it's always best to comply with the most stringent regulatory body within the market, within the basket of markets in which you want to participate. Unless you want very expensive court cases or nasty grams from lawyers or what have you. The risk of falling afoul of European Union or California regulatory bodies, it's not super high, but the consequences of being found non-compliant could be grave. So we do need to at least be mindful of those. All right, back to task at hand. Sign up saves a customer. Subscription, obviously, is saved by the subscribe activity. It's also saved by, so we need to insert, pause, resume, discontinue, cancel and refund, and delete. No. It's not saved by delete. It's deleted by delete. So we've got, oh, I goofed. Pause. Renew. Pause. Resume. Discontinue. Cancel and refund. Resume. Discontinue. Cancel. Refund. Quotas. I don't think I want to update the actual consumed amounts when we pause and renew. So quota plays a part in subscribe, and it's created. Consume quota, it's absolutely altered by that. And is there anything else in which the quota records may either be created or altered, but not destroyed? Resume, consume, and we're just removing them in a cancel refund scenario. All right. We can delete that row. So subscription removed by cancel plus refund. Insert, delete. Quota, cancel plus refund. And hard delete. Consumers or customers are only ever removed by the delete activity. Filter, that's all UI stuff. I'm not going to worry about implementing filter yet. I'm going to close this window here. So load. Loading a customer, the only thing that's really going to change over time or from one context to another. When we load a customer to create a new subscription for them, we want the exact same information as we do for all of these activities. So I'm going to say load customer. Once we've got the customer object designed, I don't think it's going to change all that often. Delta, I'm going to say low delta, high sigma. So low delta means it won't change very often. High sigma means it's shared across a variety of activity contexts. Load subscription. I'd say the structure and the nature of what a subscription looks like is variable, but not volatile. A subscription is nothing more than the combination of a billing period, or is nothing more than the connection between a customer and a kind of subscription template. It has the billing period details and maybe a state. And of course, the quota templates, or not the quota templates, but the actual user quotas are attached to the subscription. So I'm going to say this is going to be low delta. And it's used by a number of activity contexts, so it's a high sigma. Subscription template. It has length of billing period, a list of products. Will it have the list of products? No, because a product is just a group of features used for marketing purposes. The subscription is what controls how a customer would access the features within a product and what limits on those features are applied. So I'm going to say the structure of a subscription template is going to be fairly stable. So load sub template. That's also going to have a low delta, but a high sigma because it's used in all of those different circumstances. Our quota. A quota is nothing more than an identification of the feature. How many uses of that feature a customer can have, a record of how many times they have used it or how much of that feature they've used. And some quotas are lifetime. Some quotas renew and refresh. So I'm going to say load quota. There's a lot of variability in the shape of a quota, or the idea of what a quota is and what it means within the context of giving access, providing limited access to a feature, and keeping track of, as well as refreshing. So load quota, I'm going to say it's got medium, low, delta, and it's the things that alter it. I'm going to say it's got moderate sigma. And I'm even going to say that the subscription template is going to have moderate. And we're talking about the structure of the code that expresses these things, not the values, not the variety of things that could be expressed by a subscription template structure or a quota structure. Note, there have already been two kinds of quota identified. We also may want to play some games with quota where, I don't know if you remember back in the earlier days when cell phone services were becoming popular and we had a limited number of minutes per month, and some cell phone providers offered rollover minutes where you could roll over a portion of your unused minutes from month to month up to, well, this is up to a total maximum amount of minutes. So like you get 200 minutes a month. We'll let you roll over 100 if you don't use them all, up to a maximum of, say, 300 total minutes available to you at any given time. I might introduce something like that in the future. I'm not going to worry about it now because that gets complicated. Low quota, medium low delta, moderate sigma. There have already been two kinds of quota identified. We'll need more thinking on this as we approach detailed design. Product, again, it's a static description of a collection of features. It's primarily used for marketing purposes. So, load product, low delta, low sigma. Same thing for feature. Low delta, low sigma. Quota template, not lead feature, but load feature. Can I even spell today? There we go. Load quota template. Again, the act of loading the quota template and the shape of the quota template, I'm going to say is medium low delta. Because as I come up with new features or new ideas or so on and so forth, I may need new shapes of that quota template. And I'm going to say moderate sigma. Save customer. Customer isn't going to change shape very often. So I'm going to call that low delta. This operation is used only in one activity, low sigma. The subscription, again, the subscription structure itself is going to be fairly low delta. The way in which each of these deals with the subscription will vary. So I'm going to call this high sigma because the volatility is not in that the actual process of altering a subscription will necessarily change all that much, but the way in which a subscription is altered by each of these activities may vary drastically. So, save subscription. I'm going to say low delta, high sigma. Quota, save quota. Again, I'm going to say medium low delta. And I'm going to say low sigma. Well, for subscribe, yeah, there's exactly one process that will create a new quota. Unless I'm adding a feature to a product that has that uses or exposes limited resources. But I mean, if I'm adding a brand new feature to a subscription as like a, hey, surprise, there's a new feature in your subscription, I'm going to do that add via A, altering the subscription template, but B, I'm probably just going to write a stored procedure or a query, a SQL query to insert that new quota into all of my active customers' subscriptions. Consume quota. That's the other activity in which we are saving a quota. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to say low sigma. I need a better way of calling out. I'm going to say single sigma here for things that are used for tasks against a particular entity that are used by exactly one business activity. I'm going to say single sigma. Load product, low delta, single. Load feature, again, single sigma. Quota renew, blah, 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 blah. Moderate sigma. Yep. These two. No, I have those spaces there purposefully. So remove subscription. I'm going to say low delta, low sigma. Remove quota. Again, low delta, low sigma. And customer is low delta, single sigma. Now, the way we filter these objects, it's going to be the same no matter which object we're filtering. I've got a trick. I've got a silly little guy waiting in the wings for this. I've written these silly little guys probably a half dozen times over the past 10 years. And the reason or the way in which we're filtering and so on and so forth, it doesn't matter, because I've turned all of the different volatilities into variable. I've made most of the volatilities into variabilities, which we're not concerned with. Because once we've turned something once we've taken something from being volatile code to being variable driven code, we've eliminated the need to keep it segregated off on its own. I still like to group things like that together because typically the way in which we interact with those variables can change, but the context under which they're called is static, regardless of reason. All right. Now, all of these things, we've just gotten ourselves a nice little list. Let's copy this. We'll go to that note that I created at the start of the session. Paste that here. There we go. Now I can delete that row. Highlight all these silly guys. Delete them. You guys go away. You guys go away. Delete. Oh, come on. Can I multi-select? You're going to let me multi-select? No, you're not. Oh, well. Can't have everything. Delete. Delete. What's this crap? Delete. Okay. And we've just identified all of the different use cases that we're concerned about, the resource tasks that we're concerned about for pretty much all of the business activities that we've specified this week, except for the AI stuff we talked about yesterday afternoon. So we can perform a little bit of language algebra here. We can either think in terms of activity, or we can think in terms of entity, or we think in terms of, well, no. In terms of resource access, we could do load T. Save T. Remove T. And you know what? We'll put filter T down here as well. And then for each of these types, we would implement a different strategy. The strategy is basically, we know we need to load a customer, so we can load a customer I. Customer I administrative resources. I resource access. Of T. Is that how we do it? I'm not sure. Because then we have a single resource access component for all of these tasks. One API, one interface, or, one interface that could manifest as a set of different APIs, each of which rhymes with each other. Some might throw not supported. I resource tasks. Now, here's an interesting thought. When we're manipulating these things, and this just occurred to me, sometimes we may have different rules that govern whether an entity is valid to participate in a given business activity. No, that's going down a path I don't want to go down. I can already smell the carrots in that rabbit hole. But a rules engine sure seems like a neat idea, doesn't it? So what we're going to chase next is coming up with a good generic way to design a resource access component, or at least the interface for a resource access component, that can account for loading any of our entities in ways that may need to be specific to certain activity contexts. Because it may well turn out that loading a customer because we're getting ready to subscribe needs to look different from loading a customer who's getting ready to renew or pause or resume their subscription, where we're consuming their quota, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those activities may require slightly different handling of how that customer is retrieved. In reality, chances are we're not going to see a lot of delta or a lot of differences between loading a customer for these different activity contexts. But when we get down to saving a new subscription for the purposes of creating it versus saving a subscription when we're changing its state or what have you, that is significantly different. So not only does our save, remove, really the operational differences in save and remove, those commands, not only do they need to accept an instance of our entity being saved or removed, but they also need to accept an identifier for the activity context in which the save activity is being used. I'm going to let my head chew on that over the weekend, and we're going to talk some more after I've come up with some plans for that. So, yeah, today's been very thought-provoking for me anyway. I hope my rambling has been a little bit easier to follow along with than I have the impression that it was. But we are starting to zero in on volatilities and how these different operations can differ from one context to the next and so on. And all this thought work is going to pay off, I promise. Stick with me. We're going to pick this back up again Monday. I'm going to do some other stuff, some finishing touches. I want to get a landing page for the actual product application created. I want to get the roadmap formatted and locked down to a super secret group of invite-only people that I'm going to give the option to join. And yeah, so I'm going to save all of this stuff after we take our weekend, start our weekend break, and I will see you all again Monday. Until then, happy coding and have a great weekend. Try to do something relaxing. Later now.